Human beings are searching for the personal experience of reality. They are seeking to come to understand themselves, to find a reason for their own existence.
And so you go round and round and round, ever chasing the illusion that there is something outside yourself, outside your here and now, to be attained that will make things better.
No guru, no method, no teacher, and no nothing else either.
Welcome, fellow Phoenixes, to the Spiritual Phoenix podcast, where we attempt to pierce the veil and apply cosmic knowledge to terrestrial problems. Let's ignite the layers of illusion that attempt to isolate us from unity. Now, if you were to ask someone what the biggest barrier to them actualizing their dreams, the responses would vary from their past to the government to fate and so on until you cover every possible excuse. The majority of people would never honestly admit that they subconsciously are sabotaging their every effort to progress. For many of us, it seems as we stand poised to progress to the next level, some event either in or out of our control comes up as a stumbling block, failing to realize that we had planted the tripwire. Now, I'm going to get into a couple quotes. "Oh my God, it's a mirage. Listen up, y'all. It's sabotage." And that's by the Beastie Boys, obviously, from the song Sabotage. The next one is, "Nothing is wrong here, so I'm climbing up the walls, trying to kill this silence with gun blasts and alcohol." And that was from The Devil Makes Three. And the song is Hallelujah, off of Stranger, I think is the name of the album or whatever. And real quick, I want to get into what I'm grateful for. I'm just grateful to be doing season 3 of this show. Grateful to have accomplished some of the things I have, regardless of the self-sabotage I've been bringing upon myself lately. And just grateful to be moving forward in life, regardless of some setbacks, self-imposed setbacks I've created. Now, I'm going to start doing something a little different where I want to get into the tarot card for the day. I'm recording this on February 1st, and this is the tarot card that I pulled a couple weeks ago. Just happens to sync up with everything. And it is from the Tao Oracle, card number 40, Deliverance. "Before a storm breaks, the accumulation of energy and tension can build to a point where it feels almost unbearable. Then, the sudden release of pent-up energy in lightning and thunder delivers the earth from the oppressive conditions and the gusts of wind and cooling rain. Awareness and grounding are especially needed at a time like this, lest you get swept off your feet by your own overwhelming sense of relief and euphoria. The small, ordinary things in life need careful and ongoing attention, and taking care of business is the best preventative medicine to ward off the letdown that can often follow such a high. That's not to say it's appropriate to rejoice or feel unburdened now. Rather, enjoy and keep your feet on the ground. When a thunderstorm has passed, there is an uncommon freshness and sense of renewal in the air. And there is often a fair amount of debris on the ground that needs sorting through and cleaning up. It is vital now to identify and clear away any destructive thoughts or actions that might have created the heavy atmosphere that led up to the storm. Taking time for reflection will strengthen your ability to learn from your actions and help you gain the clarity not to repeat the same mistakes in the future." And these are the changes that are on that card. And the changes are relative to tossing coins in the fashion of the I Ching. So line 3 changes on that card, and it says, "Your worth is being bypassed, and that is a shame. If others recognize what you had to offer, it would benefit everyone, including you. Unfortunately, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And however disappointing it may be, it is better to move on than to dry up from lack of circulation. Eventually, your contribution will be valued, but don't wait around for it." And line 4 also changed. "There is a need for restructuring and reprioritizing. So hang up a temporary out of service sign and get to work." And that's from my Instagram, Spiritual Phoenix Tarot. And there's also a Facebook page at Spiritual Phoenix Tarot. The spelling for that's a little bit different than how the podcast is spelled, so there should be a link in the description below. Now to tie all this together, how does this relate to self-sabotage? Let me draw it into my own personal life, and then I'll try to expand upon it and tie everything together. So in the 2 months that I took off from everything, from recording, I was just working, trying to progress some other avenues of what I want to do with my life. So working this regular corporate job or whatever, I'm just unloading truck and all this kind of stuff, stocking shelves. I was working a lot of hours, and I got my first paycheck was really big. I haven't really made money in a couple of years as I've been recovering from mental health and addiction stuff. So the very first paycheck I got, I just squandered it. Next one, kind of squandered it. And it's self-sabotaging in the sense that there was a lot of other things that I could have spent that money on, but it's like that instant gratification of doing something fun for myself. And don't get me wrong, you have to do that. You have to do nice things for yourself, but to take it to the extreme where I'm just blowing this money. The other way that I have been self-sabotaging, like outside of the money thing, is looking for sexual gratification in unhealthy ways. And it's uncomfortable for me to talk about this publicly because it's like, I don't want to air all my dirty laundry, but it's also something that from the very start of this podcast, I've tried to be real and authentic with where I'm at. So if I do some embarrassing shit, I need to talk about it. And it's like the ways that I've been going about looking for sexual satisfaction have been damaging to myself in some ways and have been damaging to the other people that are involved in many ways. And it's counterintuitive in lots of ways because one of the last episodes I did was about codependency and patriarchy. And I really have damaged a lot of women with some of my past actions in regards to sex. So acting out on some of these behaviors as a way to feel better about the money or just to satisfy lust or craving for attention. Well, I wouldn't say it was codependent necessarily. It definitely was damaging, and it falls into that patriarchy mindset. So it's like, I don't want to live like that. And the sabotaging element of that is the fact that it made me feel like shit and I hurt people, and it like really made me take a look at spiritual principles I'm applying, how I'm trying to live my life, and better ways to progress. And it's good that I'm saying this right now, because even now at this juncture right here, I'm still seeking sexual satisfaction in unhealthy ways. And it's something that I have to evaluate from having repressed those things for so long, which is also self-sabotaging, to getting to where I'm at with it now. It's also destructive. So it's just something I have to be cognizant of. Now that like elephant in the room is like off my chest, some of the other ways I've been self-sabotaging, like moving forward with stuff, is like procrastination, knowing that I need to make this jewelry or whatever, and or things for my business and not doing it, knowing that I need to do whatever it is and not doing it. And the other ways that I can self-sabotage is by rushing everything. So like, I think you get the point. I can be very self-destructive. And now it comes down to, now that we know the how, it's like, what is the why behind self-sabotage? And I don't know specifically what other people may do, but this is like a good self-evaluation process if you're curious as to why things happen. Like, figure out the how you're doing it and then the why. And for me, the why is largely like that one Devil Makes Three lyric: nothing is wrong here, so I'm climbing up these walls, trying to kill the silence with gun blast and alcohol. I don't drink and I don't own a gun, but it's like, things are going well. I don't really understand how to have things be peaceful. One of the analogies I always talk about for my life is seeing this tranquil goldfish pond outside of the farmhouse I grew up in, turning around and trust falling into it, and the turbulent impulsivity creating these ripples. And it's like, that's the same thing that I'm doing now. One of the other things, self-sabotaging things I forgot to bring up is I was sick, so I quit vaping. I hadn't vaped for like 10 days, and I went and bought a pack of cigarettes. Smoking the cigarettes made me feel like shit, so I quit. Then I bought another pack of cigarettes, quit again. And it's like this constant agitation of myself, no matter what it is that I'm seeking to fill this hole, it doesn't fill it. And I have to remember that that's when I need to connect more with spirit, connect more with source, put myself further into myself. And here's the thing that I was thinking about self-sabotage when I went for a walk this morning before I recorded this. And it's like, there's this element of something's going to be destroyed. It's kind of like it's a given, I guess. Something is going to change in my life, and I can either create this self-destructive change, which screws me over unconsciously, or I can consciously work on disarming that self-sabotaging behavior. And it's like, well, how do I go about doing that? And this really requires a deep level of mindfulness and awareness and honesty with yourself. Like, I can justify and rationalize an abundant amount of bullshit. Active addiction and my track record are testament to that fact, that I can justify just about anything. Like, even when I bought cigarettes, I justified that it would be it'd be good for me because tobacco was used as a way to kill parasites and rid one's bodies of various things. I don't think that, I mean, let's just put it this way. The rationalization of that is freaking ridiculous. Let me poison myself to poison things that I may or may not have. And the fact that that's like where my mind goes with it. Not just, I want a cigarette, but this will be healthy for me. It's freaking crazy. And that's the same way I can justify doing like dangerous behavior sexually even with like other attempts to work for myself before, quitting a job where I was making some kind of income and investing everything that I had into this and putting it all in a limit of prayer where it's not like sustained by anything. And I don't want to get incredibly deep into that element of things because that's going to be something I'm going to talk about next week, which is like the misconceptions of spirituality, especially in modern times, in my opinion, and I'm not saying that I'm the authority on it, I'm the authority of my own experience, and that's about it. And sometimes I get that wrong too. But yeah, it's just like self-sabotaging is in almost everybody in one way, shape, or form, I would assume. It's just a matter of determining how people self-sabotage and how they project or deflect their own responsibility for the outcomes that they receive. One of the other things that I was self-sabotaging is this poetry book that I finished. I submitted it. I got it in. And it's like, I noticed this one common behavior that I have where it's things will get difficult and I'll stress myself out because I can't get through it and it'll paralyze me and I won't take any action for it. And the opposing end of that is I'll become obsessed with it and make myself get through it to the point where I don't even get to enjoy the experience of doing it so much. And I had a little bit of both of those with the poetry book. And I almost feel like I also had what I actually do want, which is being frustrated, applying effort, and seeing it through to its conclusion to actually finalize what I'm attempting to do. And it's like last night I submitted the poetry book for publication. Got the cover made, got everything formatted. and I'm in like a good place with it. As soon as that's ready, I'll be putting links for it within the podcast, and people can check that out. You know, that's really all I have for now. I'm excited to be doing season 3. I'm excited to be moving forward with this. And I talked a little bit more about me than the topic that I wanted to. But I guess that's what I needed to do. As I've always done as I try to do, I should say, from the beginning of this, I try to just let things come out and not try to really control the dialogue so much as just say what I feel and be authentic and real with it. If you like this podcast, please share it with people. Subscribe and review it on iTunes. If you want to support it, I'm going to have like a donation thing for money. But what I would suggest, rather than just giving me money, is buy a tarot card reading, buy some jewelry, buy a shirt, buy something from my shop, buy my book when it comes out. I want to be able to give you value for what you get outside of just listening to me talk about stuff. And I don't want to do the pay model that a lot of other podcasts do, where they offer extra content for people. And there's 2 reasons why I don't want to do that. One is I don't want to shortchange people that might not be able to afford it. I would rather have the community that benefits from this help support, help make it available to everybody. And the other reason I don't want to do that is I don't really have time to make more content than what I'm making. So I can't really offer more content for more money when I'm not going to be making anything more than what I'm doing. So I don't know. I think I'm done rambling. I love, respect, and appreciate all of you. Grateful to have you listening to season 3. There's a lot of cool stuff that'll be coming up. So yeah, just stay plugged in. If you want to suggest a topic, shoot me an email, message me on Facebook. Yeah, and enjoy the ride. Let's put our past on the pyre right now, and namaste, love and light. I love, respect, and appreciate all of you. Peace.
So